Yes, my name is Alan Wu. I'm with Sequoia Properties and Management.
And I'm Brian Gormley. I'm with Cornerstone Properties.
Now, I call these two gentlemen short sale experts, and I'll let them quickly tell you about their years of experience and how many deals they actually currently are working on and have worked on to you all see why I'll say short sale experts. How about yourself, Alan?
Yes, I started in the short sale business since 2006. Currently, we have approximately 100 to 105 short sale in our pipeline. Since 2006, we closed over 200 short sales.
Okay. How about yourself, Mr. Gormley?
I'm an attorney and broker with Cornerstone, and we've also been working since 2006 on short sales. I think we had about 97 or so in the pipeline at the beginning of December, and closed about 20 or 25 this last month, so pretty active.
Okay. Now, Mr. Gormley has a series that he puts out, information called the Where in Greater DC. Where's Dr. G in Greater DC?
Yes, we're in Greater DC is Dr. G. We film a sort of a weekly video blog where we'll film in all different parts of DC, Baltimore, and just give out free short sale tips and tricks. And the first person to guess our filming location that week gets a prize gift certificate to Chipotle's, or I think we filmed in the Baltimore Aquarium once and gave out some goldfish, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of a fun thing we do.
One time you even jumped into Potomac, right?
We did, kind of underwater house, underwater Brian. It's been a lot of fun to just to get out and around in the town and get a little wet that one time. I wouldn't recommend it though in the winter. It was a little cold.
Okay, well, let's get going with some short sale questions. Now, one of the key questions I want to start off with is this. As an agent, if an agent has a short sale that has two liens on the property, it's the first and the second, how do you all go about handling that kind of short sale transaction?
Well, in that case, with two liens, what we need to find out is that are those two liens with the same investors. If they are within the same investors, that will be much easier to deal with. But if they are with two different investors, then what we do is that we have to negotiate with both liens separately. And obviously, we try to squeeze out as much money from the first lien to pay to the second lien, and at the same time, we negotiate with the second lien so that they will take as little as possible from the first lien. And hopefully, by the end of the day, they all agree to each other, and we can go to closing.
Okay.
It does depend also on which lenders you're talking about. I think Alan's making a great point about the same lender. If it's two different lenders, you might want to start one negotiation earlier than the other. Sometimes, for example, second liens will issue an approval letter and say, we're not going to extend this, this is it. You got 30, 45 days from the time that we issue an approval letter to close, and then you're done. Other times you know that second lien is going to take a lot longer than the first lien, just because it's whomever, Flagstar or Aquin or whatever, and you want to really ramp them up earlier rather than later. Principal balance also an important factor in how you handle these things.
Okay. Now, what would you say is the typical discount that you're all able to negotiate on the average? And each one you can answer the question separately on a short sale.
Well, I don't think there's one formula fits all, but if you ask for an average, I would say the first thing is that it really depends on what the lenders see as the market value is. The market value not necessarily is what you listed on the market. Obviously, they need to do their own BPO or appraisals to determine what that value is. And a lot of time, as a negotiator, we have to work with the lender on that BPO value. So, and again, I think at the end of the day, I believe if you have to ask me for a number, I would say between 80 to 90% of whatever the final determined BPO value would be. But obviously, there's a long period of time we have to negotiate with the lender so that they agree on what that market value is for us.
Yeah, and every deal is different.
Right.
You might have other junior liens and HOA to pay, water bill to pay that you got to squeeze some money out, and that's going to affect the purchase price. But I think the property condition is really the primary determinant, both of the bank's value and what you can do in terms of negotiation, how motivated the lender is going to be to work with you. If it's a high-end retail value property, you're not going to get much traction. If it's kind of a lower-end property with ceilings falling down, mold all over the place, and so on, they're just going to want to dump it, and you're going to have a lot more flexibility in your negotiating.
Well, with the current real estate market being really full of REOs and short sales, about approximately how many short sales do you all see coming across your desk typically on a monthly basis?
Well, for our shop, since we deal with a lot of real estate agents, on an average basis, we see at least between 10 to 20 new short sales coming into our pipeline. But unfortunately, not necessarily all those 15 and 20 are workable. But we do see a lot of volume coming in on a monthly basis.
I think it just depends on the month, the season. You know, a lot of sellers have this mistaken impression that they've got to list their short sale only in the spring or whatever, and you know, it just varies on you know, when these come in. I've seen, you know, 5 or 10 deals come in a week, you know, even in a couple days, and you know, we've gone through, you know, 3-4 weeks where it's just, you know, very dry. So it all sort of depends. But as long as you've got that active pipeline, you know, some deals will last for 12 months. Some of them you'll fly through in, you know, 45 days. So you know, you kind of like to have it kind of scattered a little bit to make sure that you've got lots of deals bringing to market throughout the year.
And what benefits would several different people who would actually benefit, but let's start with the homeowner. What benefits would the homeowner receive in doing a short sale?
Well, obviously, through a short sale, first of all, the homeowner does not have to go through foreclosure. A short sale, again, is a negotiation between the homeowner and the lender, so that the lender will take less for whatever the homeowner will owe them, and you know, let the property sell. And in that case, most of the homeowner will be able to walk away from after selling the property free and clear, meaning that there's no judgment attached to them, there's no deficiencies, and they can actually start their life all over again. That is the number one benefit that I see for homeowners to go through a short sale versus a lot of the homeowners just decided to wait and let the property go into foreclosure. One thing that I always said is, in most cases, when a short sale is done, that is when the dust will start to settle. However, if the homeowner decide to let that property go into foreclosure, and when the foreclosure happened, that is when the mess will actually start for the homeowner. So definitely, short sale is something that they should look into if they already gone through loan modification or any other method to try to save the house, but they are not able to.
Yeah, I mean, peace of mind. You know, obviously the deficiency waiver is huge. A chance to rebuild their financial picture. You know, I mean, even if they didn't do a short sale, even if they kept the house and avoided a foreclosure, they still got this property, this asset that is substantially underwater. And you know, if you assume a traditional 3% appreciation rate for the next 10 to 15 years, many people will only break even at about year 12 or 13 from where values are right now. So if you're thinking about it from a standpoint of asset and wealth creation, you know, a strategic default actually makes a lot of sense for a lot of people because they can actually start planning for the rest of their lives by dumping this you know, obviously non-performing or underwater asset. Certainly the credits as well from, you know, avoiding foreclosure credit is going to be much better impact than in a short sale. And that will impact as well security clearances for employment and future job applications. So I think the benefits are multitude.
Okay, now one of the things that always comes up, and a lot of times it comes up in the press, is that homeowners are going to be hit with this huge deficiency judgment once they do a short sale. How is it handled from your agency's perspective?
Well, obviously, the lender automatically they will look for deficiency judgments, and that is what the negotiation is about. It is through a series of negotiation with the lender to have them to agree not to come after the homeowner for their deficiency judgments, and it's actually we are able to achieve that goal on a daily basis with a lot of the homeowners that we work with. And again, a lot of them, they will walk away from the deal, walk away from the selling the house without any deficiency judgments attached to their credit or attached to them personally.
Yeah, and just to sort of take a step back, because that's the key, is getting the deficiency waived. It's important to note, in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia, all 3 states are recourse states, meaning the lender can pursue a deficiency, and that's the difference between what's owed on the loan and what the lender nets, whether that's through a foreclosure or a short sale, unless they specifically waive it. in writing in their approval letter in the case of a short sale. So many people think, oh, well, I'll just let the property foreclose and I'll walk away and be done with this. Well, not necessarily the case. You can get a judgment after a foreclosure, and because the lender has those recourse rights. So getting that deficiency waived, even if you've got to pay a little bit in terms of cash or residual promissory note, definitely a wise thing to do. We tell homeowners, hey, look, isn't it wise if you've got maybe $200,000 in deficiency here, where the lender's owed $400 and they're going to get a net of say $200. There's a $200,000 deficiency. Why not take a note back for $5 or $10 grand? That'll limit your exposure to just that amount. Even if you have no intention of repaying it, they can only sue you for 5 or 10, not the 200, and they're going to sue you either way if they're going to sue you. Right. So try to cap that exposure as best you can if you can't get the deficiency fully waived right from the get-go. And ultimately, it's going to depend on who owns the note, who the investor is, and not the servicer, but the investor who owns the actual legal obligation to collect on that. Okay, and benefits to the real estate agent.
Well, obviously, real estate agent is trained to sell properties. Real estate agent are not trained to be as a negotiator, and obviously there's a lot of liabilities and legal issues attached to it if you wear both hats as a real estate agent and also a negotiator. So by using our services, actually you can eliminate a lot of the liabilities and also a lot of the responsibility and workload away from negotiating short sale with the lender. So real estate agent, all they can do is just to focus on the things that they are good at, which is listing the property, looking for buyers, and selling the properties. So have all the dirty work to put all the dirty works onto us and let us deal with the lender on behalf of you.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I would just add that negotiation of debt is a very legal thing, and I think most agents, when they realize that they're not attorneys, and really not professional negotiators, kind of come to the understanding that this is best left to someone who is professional and someone who does this for a living, every single day of the week.
Okay, and benefits to the investor.
Benefit to investors. Obviously, a lot of the short sale out there, again, just like Brian said, a lot of the lender are willing to dump their properties. It depends on the condition of their properties. So a lot of the investor actually have the ability to purchase that kind of properties before it actually go into foreclosure, and it can make a huge profit out of it. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the short sale are still in very good deals because the lender is looking for a quick sale. They are not looking to get top dollars out of each deal. They just want to meet their minimum net, and a lot of time those minimum net after negotiation could be very profitable to investors.
That's right, and it all, as Alan said, is dependent on the property condition. If you can add value, the lender isn't going to want to take that property back because they're going to get stuck either selling it to an investor for even lower price, or they're going to get stuck with the repairs and rehab themselves, which they're not in the business of doing. More lenders, in fact, are doing that now because they really don't want that low price. They want to take advantage of some of that capital gain, the equity that they can build into it. But by and large, lenders don't do that. They'd much rather dump it and cut their losses in a short sale than pursue a foreclosure and hold yet another property in their REO inventory.
Okay, gentlemen. Well, as we wrap up, I would like each of you all to just kind of give us some contact information of your companies, your email addresses, phone numbers, and websites.
Okay. Well, for Sequoia Properties, our phone number is 240-391-8043. Again, 240-391-8043. Feel free to call us anytime with that number.
And the best way to get in touch with us is to go to our site, capitalshortsale.com. Capital spelled with an O, but it's spelled with an A or forward. So capitalshortsale.com. We've got email address and phone number on the website. It's pretty easy to remember.
Okay. Thank you all, gentlemen.
Thank you.